Hey, Vanessa, I'm not sure where everybody else is.
We have 2 minutes.
Oh, I know. It's just- Well, it's kind of a bummer that we weren't online to actually hear them vote.
Here. Right, hear what they had to say. I didn't expect them to be hours ahead of their schedule.
No, I didn't either. So it was pretty impressive how fast they were moving.
I know. I was like, wow. Through like the 2 items that I was managed to be on there for, I was like, wow, okay. But they also have what? An entire. They have like an entire quarter to have the information and make up their mind what they want to do.
Yeah. It gives them time to do some research. But I didn't get any phone calls. I don't know that the district did either.
Yeah. I think out of all the people on here, we're probably only really missing Paige.
Not anymore.
Oh, okay. Then I think we're probably not going to get any more participants. Well, I guess we can go ahead and start since most of us are here. Do you want to share the news, Dee?
Oh, I'll let you do it.
Okay. Well, today, so yesterday was our State Board of Education meeting, which was their like work session. So that's where they asked us questions. And then today was their vote. Just a few questions and not really about the 7th and 8th program at all. More questions about our lottery and how that works and if there's like sibling preference. That really weird questions. And then today, well, I guess yesterday too, there was a guy who's on the State Board of Education who used to live in Eagle River, and he had nothing but fabulous things to say about us. So that was nice to hear. And then today they voted and we're way ahead of schedule. So Deanne and I both, you can watch their meetings live. So we both hopped on to watch and they were like, item 15, which was the end of their meeting. And we were like, wait, what happened?
Yeah.
So she emailed and got an email back and said we were, what was the wording? She said we were enthusiastically approved. So our expansion is definitely a go.
So I did send a thank you off to Chris Barr, who is the new charter school supervisor for the district, Dr. Bishop, and risk management, to thank them for their support and work in helping us get this passed at the state level. And so Chris and I will work with the other departments now to start taking a look at a time frame and see if we can get a project manager to help us through IT. And I think that we might actually get one of the district's project managers to kind of help manage all of the things that we're going to need to do with report cards and facilities, lease discussions, and then finalizing maybe a schedule and what that would look like in the transition of our kiddos from when they get to 8th grade to high school, and what, how that's all going to look. I did get questions this week from the assistant superintendent's office about projected schools for our 6th graders, projected numbers for how many of our 6th graders are going to stay. What else
Can
did they ask
anybody hear me?
Yes.
Only right now.
No, yeah.
Do you remember what other questions they asked
Hello?
about our 6th graders? Can you hear us, Mindy?
Well, Paige is telling me she can hear me, but I can't hear anybody else. So I'm gonna try and get out and come back in.
And then also for the committee, as soon as we can make a recommendation to the APB regarding a schedule and have them vote on a schedule, I can actually start advertising for positions. And we do want to start that as soon as we can so that we can secure the best possible candidates before they start looking for jobs in other places.
So you could really start hiring a teacher like right now, even though it's beginning of the year?
Yes, and so what we do is put a 502 out for anticipated position for the 21 or the 22-23 school year with a start date of August, whatever it is, and then get them secured and hired. So they will have the opportunity to transfer to us if they're already in district without their principal saying, no, you can't leave.
That's good. I didn't know you could start so early.
Yeah.
Well, I did. Vanessa and I sort of looked at a schedule, and we put 3 different options on the Google Drive thingy. I don't know if they are feasible, but or whatnot. But we put some on there. I don't know if you see them or not, but they're there.
Well, I recommend the committee start taking a look at those and really kind of finalizing your decisions so that we can get them to the APB and have them review it and then come back at the next meeting for a action item.
Vanessa wasn't there. Didn't we need to figure out like budget for those for the 3 schedules? Wasn't that what we were thinking about? I can't remember.
Well, I put together budgets based on the 2 schedules. I didn't see another schedule because what I'm trying to do is minimize our human resource commitments and our ability to find multiple individuals, part-time versus full-time people. And then the positive and negatives about the amount of classes kiddos have during the day. So, the board and the school is going to have to make a decision on do they want to look like a beefed up elementary program, or are they really looking at approximating a middle school experience for students? We're trying to find a happy medium.
I don't remember what our questions were anymore.
Well, I can't
Besides,
pull it up.
You can't pull it up? Oh.
I can't pull it up on my phone. I'll have to go downstairs and get my computer because my phone doesn't let me log into my ASD account, and I'm on my iPad right now doing the Zoom. So I'd have to go get my computer. And my cat's being crazy. Hold on. I'll go get it. I'll be right back.
So I know one thing that when we were looking at the schedules that Paige had suggested.
You went back on mute, Vanessa.
Oh, I didn't even know I clicked myself on mute.
So one thing we came up with, and Deanne, you get to tell us what's wrong with this, so we know. But this schedule is in there, and it's titled with 2 full-time teachers and then a part-time teacher. So yes, sorry, got a text. So let's just say teacher 1 that's full-time, teacher 2 is full-time, and then here's the part-time teacher who's there in the morning, and the part-time teacher is there to teach Spanish. So then language arts can be there for just over an hour so that 6th graders can level up if we want them to. Then this one gets a prep time while this one teaches science, and then our part-time teacher teaches Spanish to the 7th graders. Then we go into math roughly for a little over an hour, which is about roughly the same time as the rest of the school, so that 6th graders can level up, or if 7th graders need to level down, they'll be there roughly in the same time frame. Then this time is when the rest of the school has lunch, but these guys are going to do either an elective or PE if it's Tuesday or whatever day we decide to do it. If Anna is willing to teach PE at that time, then this one gets a prep while this one teaches Spanish to the 8th graders. So this would be the 7th graders getting an elective and or PE at this block. Then these guys go to lunch. Then we've got this teacher doing social studies for the 8th graders, 7th for these guys, and then 7th graders do social studies while these guys do their elective, and then PE hopefully on like Fridays and on another day during the week, maybe when Anna would have her planning time, and then she could work her planning time into a Friday if we hired her to come on Fridays as well. Does that make sense?
Is that in the Google Drive?
It is.
What is that called? Option 1 or option 2?
There's 3. So there's a draft they're all labeled draft schedule. One says 2 full-time teacher, 1 part-time. One says 2 full-time, and then maybe seeing if our art teacher wants to be full-time. And then another schedule with 3 full-time teachers. So that's what it looks like. I don't know what the budget would be like for having 3 full-time teachers, but that would be awesome. We wouldn't necessarily need an aide for any of them. And then there's some time in there where there could be some collaborative working and whatnot. But I think that's what we were wondering, Vanessa, right? Like what the budget difference would be.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say when I apparently muted myself. Between a TA and a 3rd full-time, or a part-time and a full-time, would be in the budget.
So you want to pay a certified teacher to be a teacher's aide for two periods a day?
For the 3 full-time teachers schedule?
Or okay, so
Is that what you're asking me? Yeah, because they're helping out in those classrooms. Yeah. So then that prevents having to hire on an aide, and then they can be the extra support if we needed it. Or they can be working with the upper level students. Like if we have a person that's in 8th grade that needs to be doing 9th level work or something, they could be pulling them aside and doing extra things with them, or if there's a student or a handful of students that need to be taking geometry, then whoever that teacher help for that period can be teaching geometry, like that sort of thing, but not like taking on a full class type thing.
Well, I have concerns about paying a certified teacher to be a teacher's assistant. I don't know that there's any contractual AEA issues with that. I know that you might have your certified teachers in other parts of the building a little bit upset that their colleagues' workloads require less responsibility. But our PE teacher, we'd have to hire 2 separate PE teachers, it looks like, with this schedule.
Yeah, I think I was looking at that after, and that was a hole, I think, or where we had stared at it too long and didn't come out with the right answer. And same with the 2 teacher one. We ended up with both of them, like the period of Spanish at the same time, and 2 different teachers had to teach it. I don't know if that's what we were going for.
Well, I got it all worked out on the 3 teacher one. I'll have to go back and look at the 2 teacher one because I think I fixed it. But
And then
with the 3 teacher one, if Anna teaches like the 7th graders on Mondays and Wednesdays from 12 to 12:45, and then she teaches the 8th graders on Tuesday and Thursday, then they're getting their 2 days a week for 45 minutes at a time. And then that covers 4 days, and then she doesn't have to come in on Friday. Unless there's some sort of contract information in there that requires her to have an extra planning time, which I don't know about. But I don't remember what I did with I thought I went back, Vanessa, after I did the part-time one, and I saw the hole and I was like, okay, I got to fix this. And then I think I changed it a little bit to what we did, but I don't remember what I did. Yeah, because I did change it on the part-time teacher one because I think we did what you said, had them doing Spanish at the same time or something, but their PE would be Tuesday and Friday. And I think I put that because I thought that was her planning day.
So
But
I have a question about your schedule 3 with the 3 full-time teachers. So
Okay.
you have 2 teachers needing to be Spanish highly qualified.
Okay, that's
maybe
the one
that's
I saw.
the one I did. I don't remember what I did. Yeah. Ouch. Oh, someone's it's like, why is this highlighted? Oh, because whenever someone looks at it,
And then what's happening on Fridays?
The electives. So like it says elective 1/PE. So like elective 1 is, so if that one group right there, or I don't know if you're seeing the click, but elective 1/PE where it says Monday, Wednesday. So like PE's Monday, Wednesday, and then the elective is Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And then for the under teacher 2 where it says elective 2 PE Tuesday, Thursday, then that group does their elective on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Tuesday, Thursday they have PE.
And where does teacher 1, I see. So I'm guessing that what you're trying to do is cut out your teacher's aides in the budget. It's what it looks like you're trying to do.
Well, I'm not saying that I want to, but when we were trying to figure out a schedule that still allowed for our students to level if we needed to, but still allowed us to get all the classes in, we can't obviously have an aide teaching some of these classes to help alleviate some of the load and still allow for the teachers to have their prep time. So that was kind of like, well, if we had a third teacher, then maybe we could just do this. And then in order to offset the budget, then we don't necessarily need to hire teachers' aides for those grades because we'll have the third teacher. But again, why we were wanted to design 3 different ones so we could ask you to see what that looks like or what that is, what's allowed.
So Mindy, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, how much is it worth to try to level this way, knowing that students are going to be missing some of their classes because they're not going to be taking the full language arts time and math time like our students are currently doing, except for math is pretty much most of the time.
Keep clicking the wrong buttons. Ask me again what it was you wanted to ask me.
So I'm looking at schedule 3. So, I mean, we're trying to get kiddos for part of the time from 8:30 to 9:55 so that they can level for language arts. But then, they're missing that whole part from 9:55 to 10:40 to do Spanish. I mean, is it worth this for us to level, knowing that kids are only going to be in there for half the time?
But it's not just leveling 6 to 7, it's leveling 7 to 8 too.
Right, and possibly 7,
and 8 to 7, and 7.
Right. And 7 to 6.
Right.
All right, that's the point, and that's why the 2 schedules that I created, one tried to preserve as much of the instruction, so no matter where kids went, up or down, they would be getting the full benefit of that language arts time or math time.
Well, I think the only problem with that is if we did do that, we wouldn't be able to do Spanish because I don't know where else during the day they would have the time to have that, because, our kids now have either a science block or social studies block, and they have their special, which is a whole hour, and then they just have language arts and math. And we're trying to do social studies and science and an elective and Spanish. So if I'm not mistaken, and Mindy can talk on the language arts part of it, why we're able to shrink it when they get older, but she'll have to answer the part of whether it's worth it for 7th graders to level down to 6th if they needed to.
Those are good questions. I know once they get into middle school that the spelling lesson pretty much disappears and the focus is just on writing and reading. So.
Well, and what do you do with your levelers right now? They don't get your full instruction, right? Like they're not getting the whole.
They do.
but part of it is
They are.
listening to like your, okay.
They are. That's the beauty about language arts for 6th, 7th, and 8th. The standards are exactly the same. It's just using grade level appropriate material. Hmm.
So I wonder if we have a 7th grader that needs to level down to 6th, if we evaluated it and it was like, well, they need that extra spelling time and they need that extra whatever time. And if it's not, and it's just they need a little extra help on their writing and their reading portion, then maybe they just stay with their 7th and don't level them down.
Well, I feel like there has to come a point when, like, even right now, spelling is not the be all end all for my 6th graders. They're not tested on spelling. They're tested on reading comprehension, analyzing passages, writing, conventions of writing. So although I do a little bit with spelling, most of my lesson is focused on the writing and the reading portion. I think by the time they get to middle school, either they know how to spell or they don't. And you just kind of got to move away from that and go into the writing and the reading, which is what they're going to be using for the rest of their life, basically.
So I didn't have on the agenda hashing out a schedule. So if you all just want to look at what's on there, I think Deanne has some options on there. Paige and I have some options on there, and just kind of think about what you would want and look at the options, and we can kind of look at that at our next meeting so that we can at this one look at the what were we working on? The academic plans versus standards-based report cards and the difference in those ones. I did the family and consumer science ones. And I can't do the automated robotics without like the outline of what they actually do. And I can't find that anywhere, nor did I get it from the lady that I emailed about it. She gave me all the information, like, if you want to do this, here's how you sign up with it. But I don't think we could make the academic plan because it's driven by the project Lead the Way. So I couldn't do one for that. And then I wanted some feedback on the publication one before I did that, because I wasn't sure, looking at what I did for the standards-based report card, if I should pare that down or beef it up more.
I had the same issues with the beef it up or pare it down for the report card part. So anything where it had like demonstrates and then below that listing each of the elements out, I just got rid of the elements. Because I figure either you've mastered some or you don't. And I don't know if there's a way. I mean, it depends on yours, but I think mine were like create a document in with Google tools and create a document with Microsoft tools. And then it had the different programs below that and stuff. So I just got rid of those.
And Amy, are the business ones full year or semester based?
I did them as semester based. Business Education 7 or whatever it's called. I think that one was only offered for 7th, but the computer technology class is actually offered 7th and 8th. But I don't really know what their expected timeline is, but I'm assuming only a semester.
Yeah, I think they were semester ones. If they weren't, I don't think any of their electives or most were not whole year ones. They were mostly semester and some were quarter.
Well, I think we have a healthy supply of elective options. We'll really kind of have to consider which ones are kind of going to be your go-to ones, because depending on which schedules you choose, it looks like we'll have to make sure that whoever applies for these positions are going to be comfortable teaching those topics. And then also, once we decide, then we'll need some time to make sure we have curriculum materials and supplies for those classes to begin with. So I think we're pretty close to being done as far as the academic plans and then getting started on our report cards.
Do we have language arts and math ones? Or did those not need them?
I thought Deanne said they did not need to be done. I did put in,
Oh, not math. I wrote down language arts and social studies before, but not
Yeah.
math and science.
right. I got the 7th grade social studies done and not the 8th grade because I really don't want to spend a lot of time doing an academic plan that doesn't even connect with the book we choose. Because I'm basing that whole academic plan off of what ASD has. And
Yeah,
if I did that now,
without the
standards-
books. Yeah.
yeah, the standards that ASD has for 6th grade don't match my book. So I kind of stopped there. And then I wasn't really sure what to do with language arts because everything is on there, but I did put in, if I did this right, I have to see where I did it. I did something about novels that were not only the ones recommended by Spalding and the ones recommended by ASD for certain grade levels so that they weren't having a novel retaught like the next year. And I just got to figure out what I did, where I put it. I thought it was still in there.
I see them both in here. There's two.
It's still
There's two. One is ASD novel recommendations and one is Spalding novel recommendations.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. I just hadn't gone down far enough. I saw the ASD, I just didn't see the Spalding one.
And Mindy, is book list A 7th grade and book list B 8th grade?
Or
Let me
6th
look.
grade and 7th grade.
Let me get to the Spalding one. I was thinking book list A would be 6th grade and book list B would be 7th grade. I mean, I should just say that's how I teach it in 6th grade right now. List A is this year. List B was last year and will be next year. That way I don't have the same book going on with some students that level up. Aleutian Sparrow was one recommended by ASD that I do not have. And Akira to Zoltan, I do not have. I just have the Amelia to Zora. The ones up above it were the ones that they recommend for 6th grade. I do not recommend Great Little Madison. If I can fall asleep during that story, ugh.
So what would we be using for the 7th and 8th grade reading materials?
Well, I think the 7th grade could do the course B, the list B. We have all those books, I mean, in my cupboard, except for the one book. And then for 8th grade, it would just be choosing novels out of what the ASD and maybe a few others if we wanted them. Like they had an American Plague, Animal Farm, Blood on the River, Fever 1793, Outsiders, Touching Spirit Bear. I think those are the ones we could tentatively put in our 7th, or I mean our 8th grade language arts. I mean, we could even pull in some of the 6th and 7th books if we really wanted to.
I think a lot of the reasons why they picked those books is they go really well with the US history government curriculum.
Whoops, I found a thing too. So our history, the core knowledge, they have like a scope and sequence for all the grades of all the subjects. And they have some like short stories, novels, essays or speeches that they have suggested items to. I could send those if you want to look at them. Some of them are the same, like they have Animal Farm too.
Is it just on their website?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they have like a suggested poem section or like an autobiography. So they have Diary of a Young Girl, Anne Frank on there.
Some of these we actually read in social studies class too. So if
Which
they don't
one?
get, which ones?
Yeah.
Animal Farm, Touching Spirit Bear, and Diary of Anne Frank. And interestingly enough, one that's not on there is the Giver.
Oh. They read those during social studies time?
Yeah.
I have, I think, a set of the Giver. I think 7th and 8th grade. Um,
And Lord of the Flies. But that's not on here. I don't know if the district uses that at the high school level or not.
I know they use it because I've had students talk about it with me, but I think it is at high school level.
I think maybe at the next meeting, we should, I like looking at things digitally, but it really sinks in when I'm looking at things on paper. So I don't have to toggle back and forth. I can look at multiple things at the same time. That way we can maybe get some sets printed out and go through things. And finalize recommendations for the APB board.
Okay. So what do you want us to have ready for the next one, next meeting? Like novel or literature that we think we would like to see? Or something else outside of that?
It'd be nice for us to finalize the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade scope and sequence for readers that we'd like to use for language arts.
Okay.
The 6-7 or the 7-8?
So what you'll primarily use in the 6th grade, what we're primarily going to use in the 7th grade, and what we're primarily going to use in the 8th grade.
So that there's no overlap?
Because I would
Because remember, Mindy,
say,
now you're only going to be teaching level 6. You're not going to be teaching
Right.
level 6 and 7.
right, so,
Kiddos that need to move up will move up.
right, so if I'm teaching from list A this year, which is what I'm doing, that becomes your 6th grade list. List B becomes your 7th grade list, and then it would just be finding something for 8th grade that works.
Or anything you want to add or delete.
Yes.
And then for our next meeting,
Okay.
take a look at the schedules,
Mm-hmm.
think about that. Do you need anything more on the academic and report cards plans or not?
I think I have a lot to move forward with in working with IT and a project manager, because they're not going to be able to do them all at the same time. So we can move forward with stuff. We really should try to finalize our core content area ones so that they can get started on those right away. Or we can, that way we can get it recommended to the full
Yes.
body of the APB for review. And then discussion and vote.
Okay, well, so before the next one, do you want to take a look at them and then tell us with your knowledge what might need more work on?
It depends on when we're meeting.
Okay. Let's see. So our next APB meeting is the 9th. That's probably too soon to try and get it ready for that one.
Yes, because we have
Okay.
our special meeting tomorrow, interviews on Friday, and then
Okay.
2 open houses next week.
Oh yeah. So then if we were aiming to get it done for the October one, that would be October 7th, I believe. So if we wanted this group to meet again anytime between the 9th and the October 7th.
So if we were aiming to have everything finalized by October 7th to go to the APB,
Then we really need it done by the 30th. So, so we can give it to them ahead of time.
right. So
Or
the
or
first,
do you,
the
I don't know
first
how
review
far
would be
out you
October
wanted it to
7th?
go.
If they reviewed it on October 7th, would they be able to vote on it on October or the November meeting?
Yes.
Theoretically, we can vote on it on the October 7th meeting if we give them the information a week ahead of time.
I think because it's such a big program, we should follow the change in a policy and put it out to the community and the parents and let them have time to look at it too. So that we're not just passing things and not letting them see it. So if we get it to APB for October and hold the vote to November, that's a 4-week period for parents to review what we've put together.
And this is just for the academic plan and report cards?
Or all of it.
Okay.
Or if you think that's too soon, we could do it out another, so November to December.
Yeah,
Or
because
pres-
I'd like to get this part done as soon as possible so that we, because it's going to take a lot of time doing the human resources and our facilities discussion.
Yeah. So I
Uh,
would say what we're presenting is schedule, recommended staffing, core content, academic plans and report card standards, our recommended curriculum for the, what are they called? For the classes that have like a textbook that we're recommending, like all of that together. Because if we just hand them pieces, they're going to say, well, how does this tie to this? And what does this go with this? And how did you get these if you don't have this?
Yeah, so we probably want to get it to them at least. That's a lot of time, a lot of information. So is 1 week going to be enough time?
Well, they have 1 week to look at it. And then we're not voting October, we'd be voting November. So they have that meeting and then the whole in between.
Okay.
To review it still too and have any questions. And if we needed to have a special meeting in between that for questions on it, we could do that too, especially if parents started emailing with lots of questions and we needed to have like a informational meeting or something for them. That gives us that month, if that sounds reasonable.
Giddy up.
Okay, so if we want it done by the 30th, that gives us between the 9th and the 23rd to meet again. And between now and our next meeting, which is a good amount of weeks, to think about reading selections, schedules, and finalizing any of our standards that we have going on. So should we meet like the week of the 13th?
Is our APB meeting on the 9th? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. On the 13th?
Or just the week of, is that a,
Oh, the week of the 13th.
yeah, is that a good week to meet?
I'll be here except for Friday, the 17th, and Monday, the 20th.
Okay. Any preferences? 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th?
Deanne, is the 16th a staff meeting? Do you remember?
Let me look that up.
I don't have mine. You think I'd have it?
The 16th is a staff meeting.
Okay,
So
so
13, 14, 15.
yeah, I would prefer not the 16th.
Well, the 16th is Yom Kippur. It is technically a day where we're not supposed to have a special activity. Does anybody have an objection to that?
I thought we had a staff meeting that day.
Well, correct, but anything that's outside of your workday, so like a special activity where parents have to be there, or, and we do have parents in our committee. So we don't have any extracurricular activities or meetings outside of your workday.
I honestly
Well,
would
I mean, we
prefer
can
the
do
15th.
the 15th.
I would prefer the 15th. It just works better for my schedules.
So that's a Wednesday the 15th. Anybody?
I defer to you parents with children. I don't have anything going on that week except for a staff meeting right now.
Has the next PTO meeting been scheduled? Because that's the third week of the month. And I had
I
talked
don't
about
remember.
doing it the third. I don't remember either. And I don't know if I wrote it down. But that would be the only thing
either.
I'm not sure about.
No, we did plan one for September, and I don't remember. Nope, I don't remember what we said.
Because we were going to talk about officer elections, I think.
Yes.
Mm.
I'll see if I wrote anything down.
I wonder where I would have put my notes from that. I think I did write it down, but I'm not sure where.
Hey, Amy and Vanessa, when you do find the calendar of dates for those, if you'd send them to me, I can put them on our website already.
Okay.
That way we can keep track.
Okay. I think we're just kind of doing them one by one right now. But I did write down third Thursday, September. But then I also said September 15th at 5:45.
Oh,
What? So I think our regularly scheduled is maybe going to be third Thursday. But because
But we
staff
moved that one
meeting,
because of the staff meeting, probably.
yeah, we moved it back to Wednesday at 5:45.
Or we can go out to the next week.
I'm not able to do the 23rd. I have a building tech meeting after school.
22nd is that district-wide running, like the running jamboree.
Oh,
Just a heads up.
what about the 14th, which is a Tuesday?
That works for me.
Works for me.
I can make it work if I need to.
Okay.
So we're gonna shoot for in person, right? So we
I
can
would.
look at documents. Yeah.
All right. 9/14. Next meeting in person. What's a good time?
I really like the 5 o'clock.
Can everyone else do 5 o'clock?
I will
Yep.
have to be on Zoom. Could you guys put those documents into my child's backpack so I can just have them with me wherever our chauffeur location I happen to be that evening?
And if we need to go later, it's fine.
Oh no, I'm chauffeuring from Anchorage to Wasilla. Don't worry about my schedule.
Okay.
I could probably meet after 5 too. I just, my husband's working till 5. He won't be home till like 5:30. So I'd either have to be on Zoom or also. Not that I'm just listening. So I know I haven't participated in creating much. So don't plan around me.
And can you please maybe send myself or Mindy a reminder to try to have a printout packet ready to go home and
Don't
Say Regina.
Leilani.
I know. Don't call her Regina. You'll have to give her a super ticket.
Oh, you give super tickets. I'll just
I
have to
know.
review.
Because gosh darn
Good
it.
thing. Good thing I don't have to give out super tickets because they get called everybody's name in the household before I get to theirs.
I know. Well, she wears that mask and I see look Regina's eyes and I'm like, oh, Regina. And she looks at me like I'm crazy.
She's used to it. She should actually probably answer to it. But yeah, I'll send you guys an email. I'll set a reminder on my phone to send you guys an email. And honestly, if you have the printouts ready by the Monday before, I'll just review them. So that way I can still join via Zoom during my chauffeur duties and be safe.
Yep. We'll try to make sure that it goes home in her Monday folder or something. And then Stacy, do you want a packet also?
Yeah, that'd be great because I'd like to participate as more than what I have in the past. I just had some medical stuff going on last fall or last spring. So whatever I can do to help actually get involved, whatever that looks like.
Okie doke. Well, we got lots to do between now and then. Then everybody's going to be looking at schedules. Mindy, can we pick a day where you're not doing Spalding stuff to sit down and kind of go through, make sure that we get ones printed out that are pretty finalized?
For the books.
No, for the standards.
Oh, yes.
And our report cards. So we'll have a stack of all of the standards and report cards and then put a list together. If you folks will send Mindy or I list of books that you see on ASDs or, somewhere else that you think would be worth it for us to add to that list, then we can put those on. And then please look at those schedules. Kind of
Not
keeping in mind
Really soon, though.
what our personnel will look like. Are you carpooling, Mindy?
No, Judy was just leaving and I was talking while unmuted or while, yeah.
I am talking while I'm muted.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Vanessa, it's been a long day. Oh. My brain is as foggy as it is outside.
All right. So while I was muted, I was saying, all right, I think that's it for today.
Yeah, and just let me know kind of when you're available because I know you're doing all those beginning of the year conferences.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. See you later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.